Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Comix. Hooray, we made it to episode 36. I am Luis.
I am Esteban.
Carmen.
Hey, I'm Ash.
And I'm Andres.
Hey, guys. So every week we like to talk about everything that's new in nerd news and entertainment in general. Aside from that, we also like to talk about any drinks that we're having, so we can potentially introduce you to something that you may not know about. And so for this week, we have Andres drinking something. What do you got going on over there, sir?
I'm not sure if I featured this before, but if I did, it was too fucking bad because I'm having it again. I am drinking a Berliner Weiss, which is kind of like a sour beer, but this one's a smoothie style. So it's really thick and fruity, and it's like, if you're a fan of Disneyland, it's like Dole Whip flavor.
Nice.
And this is from my favorite Bottle Logic, and Carmen has a look on her face because she's the one that gave me these cans. So thank you very much.
No, I was trying
Carmen.
to figure out if that's what you were talking about. I was like, wait, it sounds
That's
familiar.
it,
I'm like,
man.
oh, yep. Got it.
And it's not super tart as a sour would be. It's really sweet, and it tastes just like you're drinking a Dole Whip from Disneyland. Since I haven't been in over a year, this takes me back, and it's very nostalgic, and it's good. But you're not going to be able to find it at Bottle Logic anymore because it's been a while. So, sorry.
Were you ever like a card carrying member of Disneyland? The membership?
It's been a
Pass
while
holder?
since I've had one, but yeah.
Pass holder. My bad, dog. Fuck.
Oh, God.
And by the way, when I used to go to Disneyland all the time, I
Yeah.
would just go and get very drunk at California Adventure at McCarthy Circle,
Yeah.
which they have incredible drinks and their bartenders are really good. So if you like a good drink and you don't mind spending Disneyland style money to get drunk, that's a very enjoyable
At
place.
the little Casa something.
No,
the-
it's a McCarthy Circle at California Adventure.
But within that's where I got introduced. It's not Mai Tai. I can never remember. The one with the mint leaf in it.
Mojito?
With mint in it.
Yes. That was like refreshing, and I got drunk. So it was like more. Like, oh my God, that was fucking
It
amazing.
was refreshing, and I got drunk.
Yeah,
Nice.
I was on It's a Small World, like,
That's awesome.
It was a small world.
yeah. Until I pissed my pants, but I didn't piss my pants. I'm just kidding. But
No, he actually shit his
yeah.
pants.
No, McCarthy Circle has more like vintagey old style drinks. So it's more like craft mixologists, and their bartenders are really good. So
That's just down the ways from the Incredicoaster, right? Used to be
yeah, so
California Screaming.
it's literally when you enter the gates and of California Adventure. So you're going straight through. I don't know it's not Main Street there. Sorry, I'm losing my Disneyland.
It's by the fountain. As soon as
Yes,
you walk
exactly.
into
So when you
California,
enter and it opens up, it's right across, slight to the
it's
left.
Universal Walk
Oh, I know where it's at.
or something like that.
It's like kind of going towards like the Hollywood studio.
Exactly.
Yes,
Okay.
that.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's where the pseudo Avenger campus was at, where they had Miss Marvel's Jet and Black Panther and stuff like that. I think that's where it's at.
So go get drunk there. It's good. And I've done it many a times. And never been kicked out. And I was really inebriated.
And we're all gonna do it one day.
Well, thank you. Thank you, sir. What's funny about what you said about whether or not you featured a drink before, I've come to notice that if I go to like my normal craft beer places and I'm gonna buy something that I know I enjoy, I'll stop myself and I'll buy something different because of this fucking show. And I know that I need to try something different. And I'm just happy I'm not the only one that feels that way.
I haven't bought a drink specifically for the show in a long time because I have a refrigerator full of shit that I just haven't got to. So I just pull something randomly. So yeah.
It's
Whatever
something
works,
different.
man.
I dig it. And this week, Bud Light.
No, never that.
Real American hero. No, sorry.
So real quick, we just wanted to go over all the items that are on our topics before we start diving into them. So we have some The Boys news: Soldier Boy costume was revealed. New Rob
Not
Zombie
that Soldier
project.
Boy.
No, not Soldier Boy. A new Rob Zombie movie coming up that we're all pretty excited about. We got a name cast for Namor. Netflix Netflix show comic book project that's coming out. A DC project starring The Rock and Kevin Hart. And no, it's not Black Adam. Aquaman title has been revealed. She-Hulk villain has been cast. So without further ado, we'll just dive right into it. So first, I'll going into Jensen Ackles of Ackles. Did I pronounce that right?
Eccles.
From Supernatural fame, has been cast as Soldier Boy in The Boys, which is the Captain America-esque hero. And the costume has been revealed. And I have opinions of it. I'm gonna throw it to I think the biggest Supernatural fan here.
Can I stop you before you go to him, because I knew you were gonna go to him first, but I want to
talk.
So yes, please.
Yes, talk. Speak.
So sorry, Esteban. I know you like Jason Eccles a lot. That costume looks like shit. I don't give a fuck if it's supposed to be made to look bad or some knockoff simile of Captain America's. That is a fucking god awful reject of a suit. I would have liked it better if they did it like the comic book and made it like a funny mock suit where it was like the fucking short ass shorts and a tight t-shirt. Because that looks like dog shit. Sorry.
Not bad. Esteban, defend yourself.
Defend you. I agree. I agree.
Really?
I agree.
Huh.
At first, like when I first saw it, I'm like, I got a little hyped and stuff like that. I was like, all right, that's not bad. But then like when I looked a little bit further, and like zoomed in and stuff like that, I'm like, oh my God, this looks like shit. Like it really looks bad. Like you can see like the armor plates, the plates in like in the chest and in the shoulders and in the thighs and stuff like that. I think he's going to play the character amazingly. I really am. I really do. I really do think that. I just hope, and sorry, Andres, but I don't want to see him in those short shorts and the super tight shirt or whatever that like they drew him in the comic book. There's a like a second costume that he's actually wearing, and it's similar to what he's wearing and what they revealed. But not so much, the whole green with the like the burgundy or the maroon gloves and the boots, like homie looks like he's like straight Christmas, with the green and the red. The shield's fucking dope though. I will say that the shield's pretty dope. I like the shield. I'm not saying that it's better than Captain America's shield or anything like that, but yeah,
because it's not.
It's not.
You got to say something, homie.
I was showing it to you guys.
Oh, okay. Who's the one? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. What were you gonna say? Who's the one?
The one that has the acorn shield that has the star and then the stripes at the bottom of the shield that comes to a point. It looks like an acorn. Doesn't look exactly like an acorn, but it almost looks like a badge. Like I feel like Comix Alliance is like saying the name like 4 times in a row to us, like just yelling at us.
U.S. Agent.
Is it U.S. Agent? Is that how he's gonna do the shield?
Triangular with the round bottom, but it doesn't have the eagle on top.
Okay, maybe I'm thinking of that.
Yeah.
Go ahead. For casuals, what's Soldier Boy from? Is he Marvel, DC? What is he?
No, Boys. He's from The Boys.
From The Boys.
Oh shit, my bad.
The comics, The Boys. Yeah.
Yeah. But he's supposed to be a knockoff.
Captain America.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he's supposed to be like the Vought's first superhero, I guess. So happened in World War II and all that other stuff. It's
very parallel.
Yeah, it's very parallel to it. I think the costume would have been a lot better. They could have done a lot better with the costume. But the dark olive green with the maroon gloves and the boots and stuff like that, not really a big fan of. I see, obviously when you see it, you can tell it takes inspiration from Captain America's suit, you know, but it's like it's a cross between his the first Avengers costume, you know, the spandex looking one, but with like armor plating in it. You know what I mean? And it just it doesn't look good. You know, I know everybody got hyped when they saw it and stuff like that. But it's not good. I don't like it.
I didn't think it looked bad, but that's coming from the guy that I didn't think the first Avengers film. I didn't think the Captain America costume was bad until I got good costumes, and then I saw something to look back on. So I have
of course,
my personal opinion of myself. I think I've got like horse blinders that I don't know what's good until I've seen it.
Right.
But if that's all I've been given, I'm like, oh, dope, and I just adopt it and run with it. So yeah, I don't know. I thought the Soldier Boy look was good because I saw what the comic book version looked like. I'm like, holy shit, this is horrible. You know,
the one where the one that in the short shorts and
with his
stuff
little
like that, and he's pissing himself.
Yeah.
He's pissing on himself. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I was like, no, man. What about you, Carmen? What do you have? Do you have any?
She wants it to be Michael B. Jordan.
Do you have a thought process on it? Like, are you a fan of Jensen Ackles or the boy's character in general?
When I saw the image, I didn't know he was in costume until now that we're talking about it. I'm like, oh, that's supposed to be the costume? Got it. I thought he was just like training on like a vested plate, you know, like when you go running and you have like a plate. That's what I thought it was until now that I'm actually looking at the image and we're talking about it. I'm like, oh, it's pretty. I don't want to say bad because it's not bad. It's very reminiscent of the other guy in that same show, the Talks to the Fishes. What's his name?
Oh, the Deep?
The Deep, yeah.
The Deep, yeah, like the color scheme. It's very that. A little bit darker, I guess, but with the knee pads, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
it's very reminiscent to Captain Hydra in the Marvel comics. The when Captain America was part of Hydra and he was wearing the green costume and stuff like that. It's very reminiscent of that. Even the Shield too. But I mean, it's all right. It's not the best. I feel that they could have done better. But again, I mean. If they're trying to fit the aesthetic of the show, like the dark show, then all right, yeah, it fits, you know. But if I'm hoping that we get like a brief like one shot of him like running down the battlefield in the short shorts, that would be dope. That'd be hilarious, you know. But it's mainly for Ash. Ash wants to see that.
I was wondering if they're gonna do that character like comic book correct. Because if nobody's read it, I don't want to say anything that'll ruin it, but it's just interesting because stuff is going to happen to that character that I don't know if people are expecting or how they're going to play it off in the comics. In the show.
I could see like a reel happening, like they're watching on a reel, and then like Dewey like used to wear that, like something that like that's where he would wear those shorts, and he'd be like, "Shut up," like something like that kind of a. You know what I mean? You know,
that'd be funny.
Like,
yeah. To make a kind of like, what was it? The first X-Men when they're going out into battle
with the
and the joke of the yellow spandex where Logan's like, you actually go out in these? Then Cyclops, what would you prefer, yellow spandex? And it's like, we get it because we're fans, and that was all right. Well, moving on, and we're actually kind of taking a small step back. Completely forgot to go over comments. So one of the things that we like to do on the show is to have you be a part of it. Is if you comment on our Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, whatever, we highlight your comments on this page or on our episode to have you be a part of the show, so to speak. And so there's actually funny that I almost forgot to do comments now. There's a comment that I forgot to read last week, and it's actually from Melissa Morales. So so Melissa, thank you again for all of your feedback. And so I combined two comments into one. So this is all from Melissa, and this is starting with regarding episode 33. I don't know if you guys can remember. We were having a conversation about Saw films and scary films in general, and then we started talking about. I talked a little bit about a movie called The Platform, the Spanish film that's on Netflix, and Andres I think mentioned that he saw it, and then we started watching about The New Order, the new Spanish horror film that's coming out, and so that's where this conversation is picking up from. Okay, so episode 33. The Platform reminds me of a movie called Circle. It's on Netflix. It's not the best film, but it is entertaining. Luis would probably like it and find it interesting because you like the concept of the platform. Also, what the fuck is gore porn? So we were mentioning that Hostel and some of the Saw films started turning into gore porn. And Andres and Carmen, correct me if I'm wrong. Gore porn is just if you're just seeing horror on screen for the sake of being like a shock value and being like, look how disgusting this is, followed by how much more disgusting can we get, and it's very gory. That's where it kind of started falling into it, where it was not so much in story, just look at this. Here's a guy's face.
It's like how much more outrageous and graphic can we make these kills instead of there being a plot point to those kills.
Yeah.
Cool. So that is gore porn, Melissa. And so then the second one was regarding episode 35. It was during
soft gore porn. Sorry. Hey, fucking somebody had to ask. Go ahead.
I'm glad you did, buddy. Regarding episode 35, we were talking about hating characters. And I don't remember who asked the question, but somebody asked the question of, have you ever seen, or at least I think this is the part, do you ever see an actor play a character so well that you end up hating them outside of their role and get stigmatized or whatever? And so Melissa jumps on a comment that Andres said. Andres, positively, sir, you said Joffrey. It was your character that you hated, and so she responds, I absolutely agree with Andres. Joffrey from Game of Thrones and his bitch mother Cersei. I just finished season 5, so I'm full of anger towards them both. LOL, great episode. Keep it up.
Oh, so she still has good feelings about the show.
Yeah, I wanted to let her know, like, maybe you should stop here, but no, finish it.
Season 8, and then you'll love the show for eternity.
You know what, though? We were talking about this on how we're not excited about future Game of Thrones projects because
I am, but yeah.
But it's a reserved excitement. Like it's not active excitement the way Marvel projects are.
It's not Benioff and Weiss anymore, so that's why I have good feelings towards it.
See, but seeing her, Melissa's excitement on Game of Thrones kind of restored that a little bit. I'm just like, you know what? Those were some good seasons. That was some good quality television there.
And I agree. And I was like, Die Hard, like that was my favorite show for its run until that 8th season. And then it just broke my heart and
couldn't defend it anymore. Yeah.
I was literally like 2 weeks away from getting a Daenerys tattoo. And imagine if I would have got it after that last season.
Oh, everyone would have been fucking Mother of Dragons, huh? Eh?
Yep, it's true. All right, so then we got Zach.
I think it would have been cool. Like, remember that part where she snapped and the dragon and then fucking went all through the fucking cities and stuff and just like him being torn.
Like, yeah, you mean when that show just took another shit on itself? Yeah.
The only outcome I could have found interesting is because he didn't even want the crown, but like, fuck, maybe I have to get it because she went crazy. I don't know. It
was not even merited. No.
Exactly.
No.
I was gonna say, Carmen and I have had this just between us on like through chat text conversation how that wasn't merited, and it's been like fucking hours long conversation. So
all right.
Well, wasn't merited. If you're gonna do that, pay it off well and build a story so that it makes sense.
Yeah,
Don't just be like, oh, they killed my best friend, so I'm gonna snap. Oh,
I haven't
Yeah.
snapped through all the other horrific shit that has happened to me,
That
but
you've
that's
seen.
just gonna
Mhm.
send me over the edge.
Don't get me
Whatever.
started on the whole King Brand shit because that was fucking awful.
Oh,
Don't.
don't even.
Who has a better story than Brand?
We might be. We should have
anyone
warned her
now.
because we're probably spoiling it for her.
To be
No.
fair,
Okay.
you started
watch
it, Ash.
Yeah, you started it.
And I
did.
was gonna
Sorry.
say something, but I was like, you
I'll
know
tell
what?
her.
It's
I'll
been
tell her
out
not to
for 5 years. Tell her
I'll
not to
listen.
listen. And our view count went down.
No. I mean,
we appreciate you, Melissa, and sorry, it's your friend Ash. He's the one that did this. All right, Zach is next. And this is in direct response to the Stone Cold Therapy. It's an original sketch that we released earlier this month. And it just says, this one had me rolling on the floor laughing. Nice working punch, Ash. And
Hey, fuck, that's in wrestling terms, that's nice. That's nice.
It's nice.
That's nice.
It was
That's a fucking compliment.
I took it as a pretty big compliment. So in the sketch we have Craig, which is a character played by our very own Ash, that gets beat up by Batman in several sketches that we've done. And so he goes to therapy to try to channel another one of his heroes to get over the trauma of getting beaten by his childhood hero. And he hones in on Stone Cold Steve Austin. And we'll see what crazy shenanigans that man gets into. And then the last comment, and this is through our Instagram, and this is from a friend of the podcast, Ultra Turtles, known as Wing Chris from Comics.
Alliance.
I was like, Comics Allegiance? Yeah, Comics Alliance. Thanks, guys. It says, this had me dying, LOL. I'm still waiting for that stunner. So, future episodes coming out on that. And again, thank you everybody for your comments and your engagement with the show. If you want to hear your comments read, or if you have a question for us, please let us know.
There was
a firefight.
There was a firefight.
There was a firefight
for Esteban's skit of where he's explaining Infinity War. Heavyweight said that he deserves an Oscar, so that got said.
I did see that. Yes.
I mean, I appreciate that, but it's all in the editing. It's all in the editing.
Well, and it's the triplets that we had filmed for you as well.
Well, true. It was like the 5 monsters that I drank. So
just let it sit.
Dead
man.
silence. I love it. It's perfect. Fucking,
I had nothing.
Welcome to my world, bitch.
I'm not the host of the show, so sorry. You're on your own.
fucking dead silence. Thank you. Falling on deaf ears.
And thank you everybody for all of your love. We appreciate you.
I like how Luis does that very awkwardly. Thank you everybody and good night.
Good night. We're gonna end the show now. All right, so I'm gonna shift gears a little bit. In between our topics, I've given each of our co-hosts a different homework assignment that I wanted to get into today throughout the episode. We'll go through another headlining topic, and then we'll go into personal opinions about, again, what I said, nerd culture and nerd news. So starting with you, Carmen, I gave you a homework assignment. If you can reveal what that was, and then I would love to hear your response to it.
I think you phrased the question as, what is my ultimate favorite TV show or a TV series?
Oh,
right?
Oh, we all got different ones? Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I had a hard time choosing this because I just did. So I will go with currently the show that has not done anything wrong in my eyes and that I could just rewatch over and over again. And that would be Sherlock with, what's his name?
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, with Benedict Cumberbatch. I have rewatched those seasons over and over again, and I probably will continue. I wish there was more seasons to come out. I don't think there will be.
Yeah,
but
I think it's
so
done.
that would be my favorite. Other than that, I also think Westworld was a good contender, and also the one which, oh my god, fuck, Thomas Shelby,
Peaky
Peaky
Blinders.
Blinders, Peaky Blinders. I think those two are my other top contenders for favorite show. Game of Thrones would have been up there, but as we just discussed earlier, that last season was a little bit so it gets knocked down a few notches.
Do you feel that those shows that you mentioned, do you feel that they did anything to reinvent the wheel, or just something that they tied, that they were able to connect to more so than other shows?
Well, with Westworld, I like the way that it was done. It was such a slow first season, and you're discovering a lot of the plot, but you don't really know what's happening until towards the end. You know, they keep showing you the maze, and you're like, wait, what is happening here? So I like the way in which that show works. Sherlock, I've always loved the story of Sherlock, the books of Sherlock Holmes. I'm a big fangirl. So I think Cumberbatch did an amazing job. The way that they did the villain too on that show, I don't know, that's just amazing because it's kind of like investigative series, but then like a thriller, but then it's like suspenseful. So it hit a lot of like flags for me. And then what other show did I mention? Oh, and then Peaky Blinders. I love old gangster like type shows, and it's pretty good.
I dig it. Thank you for sharing, Carmen. I know that wasn't an easy thing, considering there's so much good television out nowadays. Golden age of television.
Yeah.
No question.
Yeah. For me, or general?
Well, in general.
Okay.
How Carmen said that, like, detective, and how it's interesting. Would you guys like it, like, maybe if they did a Batman movie where they don't say, hey, Jamie Foxx is fucking Riddler or whatever, like, what if they just did it where it was like The Walking Dead, everything's just silent, and then you are figuring out with Batman who it is? Like, by the new Riddler, you wouldn't really tell that that's gonna be the Riddler, other than, you know what I mean? Like, no, is that?
I see where you're going with it.
No,
like if
no, fucking Esteban just letting me hang like fucking the way we let him hang. He's just looking at me like, you motherfuckers. I know.
No, I'm not doing that.
But you get what I mean? Like, would you like figuring out?
I was trying to figure out your question because
us figuring out who the villain is as we're watching the movie, instead of announcing that Harry Connick Jr. is Dickface. You know what I mean?
Kinda...
Like Clayface.
Very disrespectful.
Dickface is better.
Clayface.
Harry Connick Jr.
Yeah, no, it's like meshing like murder mystery with a Marvel. Oof, I lost my nerd card. With the DC character of like, it's this comic book movie.
Could get away with that, or do you think maybe like a
I think
Netflix
so.
series
It'd
could
be
probably
fun.
get away? Yeah, right.
I absolutely think so.
I think if they have a character and they name him that character's name without so it's a Harvey Dent, it's Two-Face. So obviously, it's going to be Two-Face if they say Harvey.
Maybe not even that. Maybe it's like a fucking like Arkham. Like you're chasing Black Mask, but there's little hints of these other things that are happening. And
then he hired somebody, but you don't know who.
Blah blah blah. No? Okay. Well,
no. I'm agreeing with you because
it sounds interesting in theory, but the way that shows are announced now, like they would really have to keep it under wraps, like everything about like what's gonna happen in order for that to work. Because otherwise, like you already know, like Andres said, like if they announce it's this person playing this character, like you already know where the storyline is going, or it's like a lot of fan guess of where the story's gonna go.
I agree. I definitely agree with both Carmen and Andres. It's possible for them to do it that way. But they can do it but like, let's take Andres's example, like they're saying so-and-so is Harvey Dent, but you have to not have him turn into Two-Face that entire movie. You know what I mean? It's got to be someone different. It's got to be like a Clayface, you know, as the villain, you know, or it won't work, because if you immediately have Harvey Dent in there, and then it's like him turning into Two-Face, and you already know he's the villain. So yeah, could it work? Yes, absolutely. Does the studio have to be delicate about it? Absolutely. But it's difficult to do that, because what do we do on the show? We speculate. That's what everybody does. We all speculate.
Yeah.
So
we follow this storyline with little bits of this is where it's gonna end. Like, because we did shit on, like, oh, it's under my real name, Robin. And everybody went, like that was a groan. Like, so not that he's in the entire movie and he's really blah, blah, blah. Like, it's more like, fucking, you're following this, but there's little hints of, there's an umbrella in the corner.
It was cheesy, but I liked it.
I get what you're saying, and I liked it, but you like the Robin? You did not just say that.
Yeah. Like, I thought it was cheesy, but I was just like, oh, that's fun.
All right, I'm just gonna move on.
You should use your real name, Robin.
Oh, what the fuck? If they're gonna, I like your what you're saying, but if they're gonna do it, it has to be with something not as iconic as like Batman or Superman or like Spider-Man. So if you name any one of the characters in the Rogue Gallery, we're gonna be like, oh fuck, that's this.
Yeah, I get you. Like, agreed. Yeah,
like it's perfectly done, like on a Guardians or something on the Ant-Man where the character isn't that big and they could build like the breadcrumbs to it.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
That would be good. Like if they would have done a Justice League Dark, like you would have had so many characters where they could have built it off like that. Mm-hmm. And then you would have been surprised. Or like if they're gathering the team for like Justice League Dark, you could have said it where Constantine is like trying to gather people and like let little things here and there to like build up to the characters where it's like, oh, there's fucking Swamp Thing. Oh, there's Atana. There's
Deadman.
That would have been cool.
Remember, like old school Marvel, like when the fucking the snow thing came and we saw, like, if you pause at the right time, you can see the shield, like little things like that. That would have been cool.
You know what would have been perfect is if you remember the X-Men series in the 90s and they would place like fucking characters. If you're a fan of the comics,
yeah.
Like, oh fuck,
Psylocke.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, look, there's Forge, and they never said that's fucking Forge. It's just like, hey, there's fucking Forge there. Or there's fucking Alpha Flight, and you're like, what the fuck? Alpha Flight's in this episode?
I agree.
But yeah.
And thank you, Carmen, for your opinion on a good movie.
You're welcome.
Or good TV shows.
Sad. Nothing. Go ahead.
I'm laughing at the tangent that we just took, and then Luis is like, thank you, Carmen. We're only on the
exactly
first person.
why I said you're welcome.
Next item on our agenda is Rob Zombie is helmed a new project directing The Munsters. Do we have any thoughts on, considering Rob Zombie's work and what he's known for? Do we have any thoughts on?
I want you to go first because you said you were excited, and I want to know why you're excited.
Did I say I was excited?
Yes, you
did. I said we were excited, didn't I? I assumed for everybody, and I shouldn't have done that. I didn't hear that. The Munsters is a very timely show, very good show. Rob Zombie, he hasn't really done anything that I have faith in, to be perfectly frank. But I'm curious. There's no way he's gonna make it a horror film and make it a horror weird film. The type of movies he usually makes, I would imagine that there's some form of like family element to it, being the Munsters. But he can make creepy shit. So if he was to make like it be like a big family, and then the neighbor comes over and it looks all creepy, but in their world everything's normal, but through an outsider like a civilian it looks crazy. I don't know what angle that they're gonna do it in, but it's coming. It's the movie that I never knew I wanted, and now that it's coming out, I'm actually have a little bit of anticipation. Excited's the wrong word, but it's just it's a known
cautiously optimistic.
I suppose it's a no name, and it's like I respect it. Monsters was such a great like thing. I really dug it. That was probably my introduction to horror. Actually, like it was as a little kid. I remember watching it and then saying like, "Oh wait, these are based off of real characters," and then in there led my fascination with Universal monsters, of like Wolfman, you know, Frankenstein's monster, whatever. But you guys know what I mean. But Andres,
um,
rip it apart.
I
Rip it
am
apart.
cautiously optimistic because I do love some of Rob Zombie stuff. I do like House of a Thousand Corpses, and I did like The Devil's Rejects. I actually really love The Devil's Rejects, so I just don't see how he doesn't have. Okay, he has bits and pieces of comedic elements in some of those movies that played off well, but I don't know how he's going to do this, where it's generally it's a comedy series. Like I guess it has its jokes here and there, so I don't know how he's going to portray that. But I am optimistic. It better not be serious, and it better not be a horror, because then it would be fucking stupid. And what's the point? I loved the monsters growing up, so I would watch the show all the time. So that's why I'm kind of concerned. And as long as they keep the general element of the show, so I'm just concerned. That's basically where I'm at with it.
Understandably so. Anybody else fan of the monsters growing up? I imagine you.
It's gonna be hard to beat the hotness of that lily, of the lily we already had. It's all right. Nobody laughed at that, so I'll just keep running right over that. It's gonna be hard because you got to pick. Like I liked Addams Family 1, Raul Julia, Addams Family 1, but 2 was like, hey. So it's gonna be hard because it's kind of gonna be.
Wait, did you say Addams Family?
Yeah, he's comparing it.
I apologize. Please continue.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And then like they fucking put in MC Hammer and like it's which I know fucking he's not gonna do. He'll probably do the soundtrack, but is it gonna be Thousand Corpse funny? Meaning it wasn't funny, but like not Dwight. Rainn Wilson's character, like, you know what I mean? Like, is it gonna be those kind of jokes, or is it gonna be? It's gonna be a fine line. Like, it's gonna make a lot of money, and I'm kind of one of the ones that didn't mind his fucking Mike Myers, but I'm not a fucking horror buff by any means.
Mm-hmm.
And Devil's Rejects is one of my favorite movies, even though I don't like horror. But I felt that was so grounded that it wasn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's a horror movie. That's more like a crime action movie, I guess. I don't know. I wouldn't consider that horror.
Fun fact, weirdness. I could take that end scene, but I can't take the death proof scene. The
with the legs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when she has her leg out the window and they get in the crash. That's
yeah.
Worst.
Yeah, I'm all set. But yeah, it's just I don't know why there's a fine line with it, but I just hope they do it justice and hope it's not one of those things where Rob Zombie's like, oh, you didn't like it? And then fucking someone in the studio takes it and they just make it Addams Family-esque.
Yeah. Carmen, did you ever watch The Munsters?
I did. I don't think I shared such concern like Andres shared, but I think that I needed to be somewhat of a comedy so that it works for me at least. But I'm not too concerned about it. I mean, I did like some of the stuff that Rob Zombie has done, so I'm not gonna say I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to it, but I mean, I'll watch it.
The fonts they use kind of lends to itself to it being like it's not gonna be. It's like not the Metallica fonts. You know what I mean? Like it's not gonna be.
Yeah, but you got to remember this is just announced, so it's in pre-production, so that could definitely change down the road.
Okay, I got you.
All that means so far is like they probably just signed Rob Zombie.
Yeah, it's just like okay, he's directing the Munsters, and like the end, like that's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in the same boat that Andres is in. I'm concerned, because the first Halloween that Rob Zombie did, I thought it was great. I thought it was great. I thought it was great. Um, The Devil's Rejects was great too. I dug that one as well. House of a Thousand Corpses, okay, but I mean,
That was just hokey enough for me to be okay with. Like, you could tell that was plastic.
But what?
That
Okay,
corpse,
wasn't
yeah.
that his first movie, House of a Thousand Corpses?
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
That's the gore I could take. Is the point of that.
So I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm cautiously optimistic. I hope that I think what I'm more concerned is the cast. That's what I'm concerned about. Is who they're going to cast as Herman, who they're going to cast as Lily, who they're going to
Monica
cast as Grandpa.
Bellucci as fucking Lily.
No.
Yes, please. Anything. Monica Bellucci as anything.
As anything. So I think that's where I'm concerned is the casting. Maybe at that point when they start casting certain people, maybe I'll get a little bit more excited and stuff like that. But at this point in time, cautiously optimistic.
all right. So that's 3 for cautiously optimistic. 1 don't really hold any reserves, and then Ash was talking about Adam's Family. Moving on, we have first look at the Sandman Netflix series that's coming out. Esteban, you checked out the sneak peek into it, right? What did you think about it, man?
I did. So on Netflix ended up putting out a kind of like a Neil Gaiman was actually invited to the studio to kind of check out, the sets and the production and the concept art. So Nerdist was also there, and well, not Nerdist, but they were. I saw the article off of Nerdist, and that's where I'm picking it up from. Nerdist kind of put it all together in like a nice digestible 5-minute video. I love where they're going with this with the Sandman. The audiobook that I heard for Neil Gaiman Sandman was fucking magnificent. I'm excited to see this one. The way that it's very rare to see. Obviously, when you're reading a book, you're listening to an audiobook, you picture the scenery in your head, the way that they're explaining it, the way that the author's explaining it, the narrator's explaining it, you picture it in your head. I swear, the way that I pictured it, it's the concept art. The way that the concept art was coming out, and the way that they drew up the concept art. Dream's holding cell that he's been held in there, for X amount of years. It's awesome. I'm excited. I see now how they picked certain characters and how they will play into the Sandman. I think Gwendolyn Christie is going to be an epic Lucifer. I'm excited to see the banter between Cain and Abel. Overall, I'm excited for this Sandman. It's been years that we're supposed to get one. Joseph Gordon-Levitt was tied to it at one point, and that fell through. I'm just excited overall because ever since I finished that book, that graphic novel, I want it and I want more, and it's my new drug, aside from Marvel, and the MCU and Loki and Falcon and Winter Soldier and stuff like that. That's my new, like, I want more, give me more, So I'm excited about it. Again, if you guys have not read the book, read the book. The audio book is fantastic. So yeah, I'm excited for it. Very, very excited for it.
Thank you, sir. On Neil Gaiman style news, Lucifer just got its series finale. And when you were talking about the shows that you like, Carmen, and how one that never did wrong, Lucifer was such a fucking favorite of mine, except for this last season. They cut it up into 2 pieces over the last year. They did half the season and then they released the second half of the season. and it.
How was the second part?
Were you up to date all the
I was
way?
up to date until this last release of the second part.
It feels like the first 3 episodes didn't have to happen, and it really is just the last 2 episodes that is of context. But because what I refer to as filler in the anime world, where they'll just be like, oh, we're waiting until the next issue of the Japanese comic comes out for us to know where the story's supposed to go, so we're going to give you this nonsense story for 2-3 episodes. And it did that, but because it knows that it's the series finale, it's like, here's an episode about Detective Dan, here's an episode about Amenadiel, here's an episode about, like, so it's these things that didn't feel like they needed to happen. And then once it gets to the finale, it very Games of Thrones-ish. It just rushes to the end. But it's like why didn't you just do that? Like, why don't you just make it a slow burn instead of, okay, here's all the crazy shit happening now, and then it happens, but the ending happens so abruptly, it doesn't let it sink in my opinion. And so when it was over, I'm just staring at a blank screen while me and my girlfriend were watching it. Like, we're staring at the blank screen. We look at each other like, is that it? Like, I guess so. And then we had to really talk ourselves through it. Like, to be like, okay, it does make sense because of this, but it was like, it's like build, stop. And it was like such a tease, but you got everything you wanted. It gives you an ending, but it's still something's not there. But anyway, Lucifer, amazing show. Sidebar, Esteban, you had a homework assignment. Can you please reveal what that homework assignment was and discuss, please?
I told you I wouldn't take off my shirt on camera, but I mean,
I was going to say start with the watch and then move up to the hat and then go down.
Hell yeah.
Sounds like you two have had that experience before.
I go for gold. So my homework assignment was, in my opinion, what is the best action film of all time? Then defend your answer. Your answer example, define the most influential, etc. Be prepared to present, which is today. So I feel that in my opinion, the best action film of all time is Bruce Lee's Enter the Dragon. And the reason why I feel that, in my opinion, it is the best action film is because without Enter the Dragon, I feel we would not have the action movies that we have today. For example, The Matrix, with the fighting style, with the choreography, with all that stuff. So the Bourne Identity wouldn't exist. Anything in that genre, I feel that if Enter the Dragon never happened, we would not have this. And Enter the Dragon is I feel it's such a beautiful film to see Bruce Lee, and it is one of the very few Bruce Lee movies where Bruce Lee actually spoke. It's him actually speaking. In some of his other movies, he was dubbed. It was a separate actor. They dubbed his voice in it. But Enter the Dragon is one of the few where the dialogue is all him. To see him as a fucking kid, that scene with the nunchuck scene in the cave, fucking blew my mind. Secondly, the man fights Chuck Norris in the movie. You know, it's just one of those things where it's awesome. What do you mean no? What do you mean no?
Game of Death.
Huh?
It's not Enter the Dragon. He doesn't fight Chuck Norris in Enter the Dragon.
You're sure about that?
Yes. It's Game of Death. Yeah, let me look it up. It's Game of something. I think it's Game of Death. That was like the big build, and he's the end guy. The end guy in
when they're in Rome, they're in Rome battling at the Colosseum.
Right. So, but but the Enter the Dragon is the guy with the mirrors and the fucking Wolverine claws.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Chuck Norris is Game of Death. But I'm on board so far.
Okay.
Minor correction. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I mean,
that would have been a comment. So
No, I know. It's fine. It's been corrected. I've got my fact checker checking it out right now.
Cute. Hey, if I had said the same thing, you guys fucking shat all over it.
I honestly wouldn't have. I would not have. But whatever. It's all good. But that's how I feel. I mean, if
apparently Chuck Norris was in Enter the Dragon. He was in Rome to film Way of the Dragon in 1972.
Way of the
Bruce.
Dragon.
And then when Bruce said that he was going to be there, he's like, I'll put you in the film. After that, I ended up acting in 2 more Bruce Lee films. This is a direct interview with Chuck Norris.
But he's not fighting him in it, right?
Enter the Dragon and Game of Death.
But he's
1973
Game of
Enter the
Death!
Dragon.
But he's
and
not
Game
fighting.
of Death 1978.
He doesn't. Oh, is that when he gets kicked and he's all? Okay, wait.
Game of Death is where he changed styles, where they're battling at the Coliseum, and Chuck Norris is kicking his ass, and then he changed from his kung fu, and then he changes styles to his Jeet Kune Do, and that's how he beats Chuck Norris at the end, because he changed his style to no style.
But Esteban's right in that Chuck Norris is in. I'm sorry, when you said fight, it made me think of Game of Death. Sorry, Esteban, I apologize.
No, I'm pretty sure I said fight. It's all good. I'm pretty sure I said fight. But that's how I feel. I think Enter the Dragon is probably the greatest action film of all time. Like I said, without them, we would have no Bourne Identity. We would not have The Matrix. We would not have any of those hand-to-hand combat movies where the camera or the fight is the main primary focus of the film. So that's how I feel. I mean, it's Enter the Dragon, and Bruce Lee is one of my favorite actors. Growing up as a kid, Bruce Lee is the one that actually got me into not get me into martial arts, but to notice martial arts a little bit more. So it's gotten me into that got me into a lot of other things, MMA, wrestling, things like that.
Oh yeah.
So Enter the Dragon. Don't at me.
Do you get weird when like it's a cop and this guy has like fucking all kinds of fucking Royce Gracie fucking all kinds of moves, and he's taking him out with like cop moves? Have you ever seen that kind of thing? Do you ever go like cop procedure moves? He's taking out fucking Jet Li with like, it's like Jet Li versus fucking what is his name? Mel Gibson, and you're like
not really, and the only reason why is because I know for a fact that total side topic is for police training and stuff like that. They trained, some of them, trained in jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. So that's why I'm not too far. That's why to me, seeing that is not too far fetched.
That is a good question. Yeah.
They train heavy in judo. Yeah.
Right.
And that's where they flip body and use your weight against you and shit.
So that's why like seeing that on like to see a la to your point, Jet Li versus Mel Gibson, it's not too far fetched for me because I know I grew up with that. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's what it is. That's neither here nor there. But
no, it's a good question. I mean, not a good question. It's a good answer.
It's
outside looking in, I would never have thought that.
For sure. So it's like Lethal Weapon 4, Jet Li versus fucking, Riggs and Murtaugh, and you're seeing them. You're seeing, them actually putting up a fight against Jet Li when he's this renowned, assassin or whatever. It's not too far fetched because I've seen it. I've seen the training. I've gone through some of the training, so I know a certain thing. So it's not far fetched. So yeah.
What's so interesting, you don't realize with a movie as impactful as Enter the Dragon that an argument can be made that that's what brought martial arts over to the West. Yes, and just like as you were saying it, that makes perfect fucking sense. Like without that, like we wouldn't have a fucking 10-minute Matrix Neo versus Smiths scene. Like that wouldn't have happened. because it would have just been like, oh, let's go with more story, let's go with more guns, let's go with, you know, these westerns that we're used to and that were happening. But like to then transition into being these action films, it's god, that's so fucking cool. Very good pick, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Nor would we have the patience for like the Protector during that one shot scene.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And I think because of Enter the Dragon and the hand-to-hand combat and the premise and the focus on that, we get Daredevil. You know, the hallway fight scene that we
oh my god.
We get that. We get stuff like that, you know what I mean? We get, you know, in certain aspects, it's like even in the Punisher, in season 2 of the Punisher, where he's fighting the two girls in the bathroom. You know, granted, he's a brawler. Frank Castle's a fucking brawler. Marine Corps obviously knows, you know, ground game and ground fighting tactics and stuff like that, but he's a fucking brawler. So to see that and to see that fighting back and forth and stuff like that in the bathroom, you know, it's without that, without Enter the Dragon, we don't have that. You know what I mean? That's how I feel. We don't have that. You know, where the camera is focused on the hand-to-hand and the panning and the zooming around.
It becomes a dance. It's
exactly.
The beautifully choreographed. Yeah.
The choreography. Another one that comes to mind is Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation, or Fallout, where the one with Henry Cavill in it, the bathroom fight scene.
When he reloads his arms,
where he fucking cocks his arms like a fucking shotgun. It's like, come on, bro.
Dude, that
like,
was pretty
really?
Badass though.
But when you think about it, you're just like, really? You're fucking reloading your
pretty badass. Like if I was about to fight him, I'd be like, oh shit, I don't want any trouble, dude. Like, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Dude, it was so sick. Yeah, no, it was ridiculous, but it was so sick. And just seeing that
it's
long
stuff like
fight.
That. Yeah, it's stuff like that. I mean, we don't get that. We don't get certain things.
Hell yeah.
So,
very good answer,
Enter the Dragon.
I appreciate that.
Anybody? You.
Anybody have any comments on Esteban's choice of Enter the Dragon before we move on?
Great film.
Going once, twice.
Bolo's in it, and a guy that ends up being in Rapid Fire. The same guy fought Bruce Lee, also fought Brandon Lee. Awesome.
Really?
That's pretty badass.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
From Enter the Dragon and Rapid Fire. And it's like a fucking dope ass scene because like Brandon barely fucking wins. It's fucking dope.
I gotta see that.
Right
I'm sure it's on YouTube.
Yeah, it is.
Alrighty. And so we are shifting gears over to Super Pets has been announced. A DC project. And it is starring The Rock as Crypto. And Kevin Hart is Ace, which is Batman's Great Dane.
Whatever.
So wait, he's Ace and Black Adam?
No, he's Crypto.
Crypto,
sorry.
And yes.
What did I say? Ace? Sorry,
Crypto
and Black
it's an animated film, and it looks like they're having fun with it. John Krasinski's in it.
Yes.
It has a very fascinating cast. Like it's a very well-known cast. Comes out 2022. So it looks like it's not taking itself seriously, very much like Teen Titans Go to the Movies, which was a very fun film. if anyone has seen it or if anyone is interested to watch it, I would recommend it. It was very ridiculous / fun. It pokes fun at the DC universe and how they're trying to be as good as like Marvel, which is I find very amusing in how they're making movies out of every type of series. Like they don't take themselves too seriously, which is always refreshing to see in a property. But Super Pets, I can't really say that there's anything else. You know, we don't really know anything about it. Does anybody have any comments on that before we move it along?
It always felt weird. It always felt like fucking Batman has a dog, fucking Superman has a dog, and they're all in costume. That was like very cheeky, just more like
100%
to the kids.
Yeah. Well, the Crypto felt cheesier because Ace,
because he has the powers of Superman, right? Like, he's also
yeah,
he can fucking fly and shit.
You guys also forget that fucking that the comics have been around for how long? So obviously it's not going to be all fucking modern and cool. It's like, yeah, this has been around since fucking before the 50s. Relax.
Yeah, it's cute.
They're gonna do all kinds of bullshit to get stories.
I appreciate it because instead of introducing your kid to like Baby Shark, maybe you can introduce them to crypto, and then that leads to the next generation of nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Instead of showing them fucking Dark Knight, you can show them crypto, and then blah 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 blah.
And yes, what I love about crypto, it was just very opened up. It was like a comic book arc, but it was opened up to a younger audience, which was, you know, just like what you're saying. Ace is the same sort of thing. It was he came out in 1955, but then he kind of went away. Like it was like we're kind of ashamed of him. Even though crypto, I want to say in the 90s, around the time that the Superman animated series, they was like a little spin-off of crypto. And so that was still front and center. And so they kept bringing that up. But Ace didn't make his comeback until Batman Beyond. So when Bruce is all old and can't take care of himself, he gets this big fucking Great Dane named Ace. And he like watches the manor. And I think it's adorable. So I have
And that's probably,
fondness
and
for
that
Ace.
has to be fucking a wink nod to Joker, naming your dog Ace.
I could see that. Yeah. Ace in the
No
hole.
other reason. To be fucking
It's fair.
Gotham, fucking dark Gotham nuts. Like, it would, you know what I mean? Like, he would name it like something crazy.
I'm going to call my dog Dark Gotham Nuts.
Sounds
He's
like
just
Name it
standing
fucking
proud with his
Purgatory.
balls
Your name is
intact.
Purgatory. He wouldn't name it. Ace was like right before Joker died, he pulled an ace and it wasn't the Joker. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, it'd be a wink nod.
Oh my god, that's funny.
Dark Gotham
Gotham
nuts.
balls or nuts. Oh Jesus. Are you gonna get him fixed? No.
No,
You
you don't cut
but
those
sir-
Dark Gotham nuts. Never.
you don't cut the nuts off of Gotham.
Gotham cuts the nuts off of you.
Yeah. Tries to cut him and it's
In
like it breaks
Russia.
the scissors.
Gotham nuts you. Moving on along to another more DC news. The new title to the Aquaman film has been revealed. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. What are our thoughts on this, guys? I mean, it doesn't really say much about it. It's just fucking title.
It's like to me, it's like whatever, because when I read that, the first thing I thought of was Black Panther, and the reason why is because we're getting Namor, or possibly getting Namor. You know, so I'm just kind of like meh about it. I mean, the only thing that I can think of is that, you know, because DC canceled the Trench movie, that they're the spin-off, the Trench, is that James Wan is just like, fuck it, then I'll do it myself, and you know, we'll deep dive a little bit more into the Trench, you know.
Deep dive, Aquaman.
Yeah, exactly.
Water?
that he tried so hard for that one.
Pun intended, folks. Pun intended. We're professionals. Continue.
We are. But that's the only thing I can think of. I mean, Lost Kingdom, I mean, that's the only thing I can think of is the Trench. Is that, I mean, so
I was sidebar, James Wan. Did anybody see the new Conjuring film?
I did not. I
Okay.
wanted to this weekend. I did not, but
It got shit on really badly by reviews.
Did it
I didn't think
really?
it was. I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, it was my least favorite of the three Conjurings. It's still better than the Nun, but
we saw the Nun. That shit
yeah,
was
we did.
like-
Dude, what's sad is that we both took time at like we both showed up in work clothes to go to this movie that neither of our ladies wanted to go see.
Yeah.
We saw it and we were like, I remember getting out of the movie theater and we're both in denial that it was not good. We're like, this
Yeah, it's
one
funny.
was good. Yeah, like
where we walked out, we're like, it was good, right? It was good.
it was good. I think it was good.
Yeah.
One part, you know. And then something else happened, I'm sure. Andres, did you see Conjuring 3?
I didn't have a chance to see it this past weekend. I was planning on to see it this weekend, so let's see what happens.
I
But-
strongly recommend everybody in here to watch it still.
I don't.
Despite
I,
bad
I
reviews.
don't take reviews of like horror movies that well, because it's usually horror movies that I end up liking have bad or poorly reviewed. So the reviews don't mean anything to me. But yes, I agree with you both on the Nun.
I feel.
Go
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna move it back to Conjuring, but go ahead and talk about.
No, what I was gonna say as far as to horror movies and reviews, the critics when they do the horror movies and the reviews, I think they're very biased by it. You know what I mean? When it comes down to the reviews, I think like what they're trying to do is they're trying to get a beginning, middle, and an end. You know what I mean? They have a formula that every other movie follows except horror movies. I mean, granted, horror movies have the beginning, middle, end, but they're looking for depth. They're looking for this. They're looking for that. To the horror fans like us here, it's like it's not typically the depth, but it's the little nods to certain things and the hints to this, or that's what they meant, or something along those lines. So I kind of feel, and I'm right there with Andres, it's like whenever the horror movies get shit on by movies, really don't pay attention to it. It's like, you know what, I'll watch it myself and then I'll be the judge of it, minus the nun. But I'll kind of watch it and kind of, go based off of that and make the decision myself.
I can't help but pay attention. Like when a horror film gets a good review, oh my God, like I'm already like, what? Yeah, like it's a good script and it's scary. Holy shit, I'm in. Like I can't wait. But yeah, no, you're right. Horror films are same. It's kind of like comedies. They're on a very specific lens that when they get a bad review, sometimes I can enjoy it. Like what was it? Kung Pao got rated horribly. I fucking love that movie, but but you have to be in a particular mood to watch it. I get that.
Right.
You can't just be like, this is the greatest film for everyone, because it's not. Like, but it's just like, hey, you want to take an edible? Let's watch Kung Pao. Like, or do you want to just be dumb if you're just drinking with friends, whatever? Like, it's a good film. Or same with Kung Fu Hustle.
Silly goose time.
Exactly. It's just a silly time, and horror films can be that way too.
Ash and I feel the same thing about Bill and Ted Face the Music. So if you guys ever watch it,
I've heard the story.
I think high as fuck when you.
Anytime I see it when I'm on HBO Max, I just think of you guys, and I'm just like, I don't know what happened. One day we'll get the full story. One day we'll get the full story, because you guys just keep talking in code. You're like, oh, remember this one time?
But I think that the funny part is, it's like if we legit pull up the scene that Ash and I were just fucking dying over and put it up and show it to you guys are gonna look at each other like they fucking thought this was hilarious.
No, we made it funny in that there's a sidebar. The thing I want to do too is kind of like a best of the worst. We should watch bad movies and fucking discuss it.
I'm down with that.
But sidebar, I understand. But something like that is the only way you'll get when that show happens. Like you're gonna be like, bro, that was the only funny thing, and then you just go off, and that was the only funny thing, and then it's all, oh shit, the credits.
And we're done.
Yeah, pretty much. That's how it is.
But
with your wife being annoyed about the scene that happened 25 minutes ago, because that was the only funny scene. Damn it.
High as fuck.
Conjuring 3, good. First 15 minutes was excellent. And I was like, these reviews don't know what they're talking about. And then it started to turn, and I'm like, I get it now.
I understand.
I still enjoyed it, but I did notice I kept picking up my phone, and I was like doing editing for the podcast and stuff while it was playing in the background. So that's not a good sign, it was like captivating me. This wasn't on the agenda, but it was something that popped on my radar. Andres, did you see a trailer to The Boy on the Other Side of the Wall?
I have not. I have not even heard of this.
It's a Shudder production. Dude, I'm gonna fucking sign up for the Shudder thing.
I love
Shudder. I'm gonna have to also.
It looks creepy as fuck. It's like this little boy that is in this room. I think he's kidnapped based on the trailer's very very reserved on the premise of it, but there is a boy on the other side of the wall, and he's like, quick, he's coming, hide. And then he's like, I'll get you out of there. And then he hides. And then, but it's a very Mike Myers-esque person where like he thinks he's hidden, but then he like looks to the left and the guy's just like standing in the hallway, just like staring at, like he's not chasing him, which makes it so much scarier. He's just fucking standing there and you can't see his face. You just see like the shadow. Kid runs and he's like, I'll be back for you. And it's like these two like 10-year-old kids. Like one of them is trapped in this room. The other one is outside, but doesn't want to leave the one alone. But it's a Shudder production, but then it's saying available soon or something. So I don't know if Shudder's going mainstream and they're shooting this to theaters, because it was a trailer I saw on IGN that looked pretty legit.
Interesting.
Or they're just pushing their marketing further to like, hey, come sign up for Shudder. But regardless, it looked fucking good. And anyway, I was just curious because I know you're a Shudder subscriber.
So just side topic, question, because we're on the topic of horror. What's the one for everybody? And this question goes to everybody. What's the one where you're just like, nope, can't do it.
Pause.
Can't do it, nope.
Pause. That's a very good thing that you asked that question. That was actually coming up next, because that's bleeding right into, you guessed it, Andres' homework assignment. And then I would love for all of us to weigh in on it. But I did want to hear, Andres, it's no secret to any listener of the podcast. You're very intuitive and you're very thought out with and methodical with your responses. You have a precise. I noticed this from you when we were having a conversation about video games, and you were talking about GoldenEye and how it was a staple of shooters.
You still have to have a GoldenEye party.
Down. And how you're just like, we wouldn't have Halo if we didn't have GoldenEye. We wouldn't have this. We wouldn't have this. We wouldn't have, like, you're so just detailed. And it's like you go in a place where my brain doesn't go. I just see things on the surface. And so I was very intrigued to see what you would identify as what is, in your personal opinion, what is the best horror film of all time, and is it the most influential? What made it that? And to defend your answer. So the floor is yours, good sir.
So whenever you guys ask me questions on what's my favorite anything, that is like the hardest thing in the world for me to do, because I love stuff and I love multiples of stuff, and depending what mood or what gear it is you catch me on, it's going to be different. But in this one, I could narrow it down to two, and it's going to be The Exorcist, and it's going to be the original Halloween. So The Exorcist, so I was sure I talked about this before. I was raised Catholic in the church. I went to Catholic school from 1st to 12th grade. I was an altar boy and all that jazz. So anything having to do with religion and the devil and possession, that's always pretty freaky. The acting in the movie is really good. There's also all the there's a bunch of stuff where the actors that appeared in the movie died afterwards, so there's the whole lore with that. The second one is okay, but none of the follow-up movies touch the original, and that gave us all the like horror based on like religion and exorcism and stuff. So those are always great. And then like slasher wise, it's gonna have to be Halloween. And I think what I like about Halloween the most is it has that supernatural killer where we don't know if he's human or not, since he keeps, especially at the end of the movie where he gets up and walks away. I love the Dr. Loomis character in it. And it really kind of starts the whole like the rules of like horror movies. Like if you watch Scream and you get to they break down the rules, like if you have sex, you're gonna fucking die, only the virgin survives. So all that shit. And there's especially the kills where Laurie Strauss is friends when they're upstairs fucking, and Jason kills a boyfriend in the fucking closet. So I don't know, there's just, that movie's so iconic, and it like leads to other like
and that was a nod in Scream, like right after they bone down, he killed, yeah, that was a nod in Scream. It's impressive because I'm not a horror person and I do that.
It is impressive actually, now you say it.
I would absolutely agree with your choices. That's very great choices. And a small tidbit, there is an homage to the original Exorcist in Conjuring 3.
I heard. Yeah.
Oh, you heard about that?
It
caught me by surprise. So I won't say the what, why, where, when, whatever. Mm-hmm. But when you see it, you'll know it, and it's a very like intentional nod to it. And it's like, that's cute. I like that, especially when you give homage to your roots.
Oh, absolutely. I think, as a director, in, or anyone in any medium, podcast, movie, TV show, whatever, if you can pay homage to your roots and where you came from, I think that's a fucking huge, like,
Yeah.
not only is it, huge to, the people that came before you, but it's just like, it's one of those, like, this fucker knows what he's talking about. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they know, you know what
When
I
you
mean?
do your homework.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You brought up the question earlier. I'll shift it over to you, sir. What movie, what horror film? It doesn't necessarily have to be as in depth as Andres's, but what horror film do you just like, dude, it still shocks you in my core, or I love it because of XYZ?
I want to touch on that, but I know Ash has a question, and I know if I don't, he needs to get it off his chest. I can see it. Go on, dude.
It actually has nothing to do with anything, but I did want our host to know. Have you heard of Slipknot number 9 whiskey?
No.
It's back in stock, and I just want you to see that so that we can try that on the show.
I had no idea that was a thing.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say that out loud because I know Slipknot, you love it. So
I do.
All right, so we should try that.
Like how Andres knew it too. I'm so out of the loop, guys.
No, I just want to try it.
The Metallica one is blackened, and
yeah,
it's really good.
Yeah, I want to try that. So, but I want to try it on the show that if it's a theme. But you're hosting, so that's why I brought it up.
Bob Dylan has his own whiskey.
I see that one. I did not know, but I do want to try that.
Yes. And then the Frank Sinatra one's like $130, so I'm down, and it'll be my show thing. We're gonna class it up and do shots of it.
Down
right on.
All right, back to you, SC. What film, horror film is it? Just like it's got you.
The only one that got, what's up?
Nope. Was trying to get Carmen's attention, but you keep going. Talk.
Oh, okay.
Pretend it's a show.
Okay. Oh, my bad. As far as horror movies go, like I'm right there with Andres. Born and raised Catholic, went to school, kinder to 12th grade Catholic. So anything that deals with religious, like I'm all for it. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna be like, and I'm like this fucking like, and so The Conjuring, I'm all for it. I don't fuck with it. I will say that I do not fuck with it. But the one movie that I will not do, that I've seen it once and I have not seen it since, is Fire in the Sky. Watch that movie.
Bastard, that was my question. I was gonna ask after everybody was done. What's the one movie that gave everybody nightmares, and that was my answer.
Fire in the Sky. I will not fucking do that movie. And I think the last time that my anxiety kicked in during a movie was during Signs, watching the movie Signs. Because it took me back to when I saw Fire in the Sky as a kid. Saw Fire in the Sky, the anxiety, I felt sweating. I couldn't do it.
Best part in Signs is when they're watching the news and they're seeing the clip where you first see the aliens in Mexico, and you see them walking on the camera and they just turn.
Chills. Yeah.
So, funny thing, I saw Signs in theaters when I think I saw it. I saw it with my dad because my dad wanted to go see it. So we went to go see it. Nobody else wanted to go see it. I think my dad and I went to go see it. Probably the loudest that I've ever fucking cursed in public when that scene happened. And it was a relatively like quiet theater. It wasn't packed or anything like that, because we went to go see it fairly early. It was like the matinee special. He and I went to go see it. Great fucking movie. Fucking love that movie. That's I'll watch that one again. Signs. But Fire in the Sky, fuck Fire in the Sky. The scene where Joaquin Phoenix is in the closet watching the TV and you see the alien walk by, I legit swear, I hand to God, I said, fuck this movie, I'm out. Like legit, like I stood up and I said, fuck this movie, I'm out. I'm done. So, Fire in the Sky. Fuck Fire in the Sky. Never watching that movie again. Ever. Fucking never watching that movie again.
I watched that movie in the theaters when I was a boy when it first came out, and that's the only movie to have, or horror movie to ever have given me nightmares.
Mm-mm.
So
Is it the needle scene? The needle?
It's the whole space part. Yeah, the whole
Oh.
when he's in the alien spaceship.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Fuck that movie, dude.
What about you, Carmen? You fuck with horror movies a bit, right?
Yeah.
What is going? Hey, you fuck with needles? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, the way you ask is so.
No, bro.
weird.
No. The needle scene, the space scene in fucking Fire in the Sky. I'm not kidding. It looked like a fucking 12-inch needle.
Yes.
Fucking and into the
Yes.
eye.
Yes.
I'm not sleeping tonight. Fuck you all. I'm not sleeping tonight. I'm gonna text somebody later
The
on.
reason I raised my hand was because of what you guys were talking about, and I had, and Carmen, we'll go back to you. I will remember that. The part where there's that, you know how you go to, and if I apologize, a specific restaurant, and there's like a rice wrap, and you fucking put the meat in there, and then you can still see the meat in it. When you see the fucking what he's wrapped in, and you can still see that. I was like,
The light street. Yeah.
yeah, that's how I got like all fucking. Oh, and I had a black box. For you older people, it was a cable box that gets every channel, every whatever, and you can get.
He's admitting to stealing cable. Everybody, that's what he's doing.
That was back in the day. You can arrest me. But back then it was called a black box. And I couldn't handle everything. I saw fucking Silence of the Lambs. I saw this. I saw that. Blah blah blah. And it was all like, "Hey, TV." And then it was like, "Oh, Fire in the Sky. That could be cool." And then he was out in the woods. And then that part happened. And then I was all, "Oh no." I could nope. So, and that was back in the day on HBO. It'd be like, it's on at 2:00. Then it's fucking blah 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 blah. It's on at 5:00. So there were times in the black box where I would see it at 2:00 and be like, "Oh, okay," and forgot about it because you're watching Tiny Toons. And then like at 5:00, you're refucked. You're refucked into that part, and that
is that a word? Refucked?
You're refucked.
He's fucked again.
Yeah, like you're like, remember how you forgot about that part? Refucked. It's that's how you never want to be refucked. Carmen, back to you.
Can we put that on a shirt? You never want to be refucked, Ash.
You never want to be refucked. You get refucked.
Unless they're doing it right.
Hey-o!
Oh,
that's how we get ratings. Carmen.
Oh, sir, you flirt.
I think the movie that did give me the creeps would be The Exorcist, and that's just because I watched it when I was really young, and like everybody else has mentioned, I was brought up extremely Catholic, like extremely to the point where it was a little bit obsessive. So I've always had like a thing with religion and exorcisms and things that are out of the ordinary that have to do with either like black magic or like spells or whatever. So that movie really did do it for me. I have seen Fire in the Sky, and because I think I saw it much later, it didn't do as much of an impact. It impacted me, but not as much as The Exorcist did when I was a kid. And I watched it, I think I was maybe like 8 years old when I watched The Exorcist because my older cousins were playing it. So it was a lot for me. So that would be the movie. Yeah.
I'm sensing a very similar theme with all of us. I was also raised very obsessive Catholic, obsessive to the point where we would pray the rosary every day. So it was one of those. And my mom is Salvadorian, and so they're very spiritual / Wiccan. So my grandmother, she was really big in tarot cards, and there was
some.
Huh?
Can we say some?
Can we say some?
Just so it's not so generic and like all.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay. Salvadorian people are known for being very spiritual in that sense, and so my grandmother was one of them, and so as a direct result, my mom was a very big believer of black magic because from where she grew up in her culture. And so Exorcist was another one to follow along with everybody else. But I want to say the movie that shook me, which was weird, was because it was as an adult. It might also be with like everything that surrounded it, but I went to go see Hereditary when I was like by myself.
Mm.
Is
And
that the one with the little kid and the head gets taken off?
Yep.
Not down. Absolutely not down.
That movie, and because I saw it, so I had just gotten the AMC Stubs pass thing, and I had the day off the next day, and I didn't have a significant other at the time, and my sister had to work, so I was gonna just go home, and I was like, you know what, fuck that, I'm gonna treat myself to a movie, and I was like, oh, I heard this movie was gonna be good, so I see it. I get out of and I decided, like, you know what, I'm gonna park my car and I'm going to walk to the movie theater because it was in relatively walking distance. So I get out of the movie, I would say maybe midnight, 1 a.m. And so I've got a 10-minute walk through a residential area, and I pass a park. And I don't know if you know anything about parks or like schools. It feels very creepy at night. And so because I just saw this movie Hereditary, and it genuinely fucked with me, and then I was like, I've got a 10-minute walk home. Like, I had my earbuds to listen to music on my way. Like, I didn't connect it. Like, I was walking in silence because I wanted to be aware of my surroundings. Like, and it wasn't until I got home that I realized that I allowed a movie to fuck with me that heavily to where I'm like, I'm not even going to listen to music. Like, I just need to really be alone with my thoughts right now. And even now, like, I have such respect for that film for being able to do that to me as an adult. So that's my choice.
Have you ever walked out on a movie?
Not for being too scary or anything.
Yeah.
No.
What's one movie? Esteban, I saw you raise your hand. I'm not taking over for you, Luis. I'm sorry, but you did raise your hand. Luis, what was your hand raised for?
No, the reason why I kind of was because whenever I see a movie, and like as soon as the movie's over, like my mind starts to wander. Like it goes back to the movie, okay, to try to not comprehend the movie, but just kind of like, you know, like a what if scenario type thing. The funny thing is that the only thing that calms my anxiety is the Predator theme song. I don't know why, but it does. So I was
the Predator theme song.
You know, like in the beginning, the beginning of the movie, you know. So the night
Did they play that in all the movies? I'm cutting your story off.
No. I think it was only in the first one. I think it was only in the first one.
Sorry, go ahead.
So the night that Luis and I we went to go see The Nun, granted it was a shitty movie, but the elements, the Catholic elements and stuff like that, like it still fucked with me a little bit, but not to the point where I'm just kind of like, you know, I'm not gonna fucking walk to my car, you know, like I'll be fine, you know, I'll stay here until the sun rises. It's not that, but it's the whole mere fact that, you know, thinking, you know, and trying to like put together certain things that I've seen growing up, and then, you know, tying that in with The Nun and shit like that, that the only thing that calmed me down was the Predator theme song. The you know, the helicopter or whatever at the very, very end, or in the beginning, was that. I don't know why, but that song is very soothing to me to listen to, and to just kind of like put my mind at ease. So if there's ever something that creeps the fuck out of me and I'm just like, you know what, nope, like I need a minute to myself, like I will listen to that song, or I will hum that song to kind of calm my anxiety down. It's the best.
So what calms you down is the theme song of a fucking creature that hunts down human beings for sport.
Because it's not real.
Well, I'm thinking about
laughing, and the three dots happen, and
yeah, you know, it's not real. But yet somehow in my fucking crazy brain, all the shit that I saw in The Nun, that shit's real. You know what I mean?
I get that. So, especially it's flirting with religious themes. It makes it
right. But yeah, it's like But when it comes down to stuff like that, I'm like this, like I'm watching, like,
That's fucking crazy. Yeah.
right,
No.
like I'll watch it,
I saw Blair Witch after they all came out on MTV. Like, it's fake. I saw Blair
Yeah.
Witch after that,
and, it's
and
so
during
creepy
the
out.
fucking part where they fucking the little kids start to hit
Yeah.
the tent, and I was like, oh, this no. Like, no. Like I tapped out. I still watched the whole fucking movie. I didn't tap out like that. I was more like, press pause on this bitch because I need to fucking get another shot. Like, that's how far it was. Like, okay, and then cool. And then the Josh part, like, again,
Yeah.
after watching MTV, like, We're All Alive, and it still affected me. And that fucking creepy lady, it was like a woman. Like, all set.
Woman.
A woman.
Thank you.
Relax,
A woman.
Mark Wahlberg.
No, that's how she
It's
says
a transformer.
Watch it. Yeah,
Transformer.
watch it. That's how she says it.
Well, this is a beautiful segment to talk about yours. Ash, what was your homework assignment and what is your answer?
God damn.
Transformer.
If I didn't go on a tangent on everyone else, I got to go on a tangent on my own. I do feel like I sound far away. Nope, nothing. I'm plugged in. That's why it's all weird. Sorry.
You sound fine. Keep going.
All right, my bad. All kinds of attitude.
Such a flirt.
My favorite shit is like okay, my homework was, what is my favorite comedy movie? And that's really fucking hard. Comedy movie. As slapstick as I love Three Stooges, that kind of stuff. Like, I do love stuff that's based in reality, and that's what makes me laugh more. Tommy Boy. But you said favorite. My favorite comedy movie is The Burbs. In that it's a guy that doesn't want to accept that his neighbors are eccentric and that they're just normal, they're blah, 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 but a bunch of things are happening. He's fighting his other neighbors to say, like, these guys are Satanists. And, like, spoiler alert, it's like a split the difference type of situation. But he's thinking, oh, they're digging dirt in the middle of the night for worms to fish. And these guys are like, no, they're burying bodies. Again, it's a split the difference situation. But it's Tom Hanks. If you notice in skits, if you ham it up, then I gotta play the straight guy. If I ham it up, then you gotta play. There's always like, there's a formula to how things can work. This is like the hardest fucking situation. Okay, I feel like I just answered it. If you guys want the long ass answer, then I will answer it.
I see. That sounds pretty solid.
Do
All right.
it.
Do you have one that was like a close second? I said you mentioned Tommy Boy, phenomenal movie. And so is there
Tommy Boy is based in reality too, in that he wants to take over. It's an idiot trying to take over his family's. You know what I mean? Anything that fucking Vince Vaughn does, it doesn't. Vince Vaughn is like the same as Chris Farley in that it's other people having to deal with that eccentric character. It's not the same, like, it's not the same in physical comedy. It's not the same in blah, blah, blah. But it's an eccentric character and everybody has to deal with that character.
Yeah.
That's how I mean in that same, like, fucking
I get
Vince
that.
Vaughn, you could put him in anything and he will come up with stuff you never wrote that's way funnier. And it was his 5 minutes of, I just showed up and did this. You know what I mean? And I'm playing the kids, the main kids. Fucking, there's a movie on Hulu with the guy from Santa Clarita Diet. And he just plays the father of somebody.
With the
And
Oliphant?
No. He plays this. He plays the father in the movie of the side kid character in Santa Clarita Diet, but he's the main character in this, and he plays the father of the girl interest or something. But he like steals every scene because the way that he attacks the scene is like fucking amazing. Like I don't know, just fucking the Burbs and Tommy Boy. I feel like I'm just rambling, but there's different ways to attack comedy, and I love somebody that can sit there and entertain you with. It's like a Dave Chappelle can entertain me just as much as Kung Pao, as Chris Farley. It's so fucking hard to say what's your favorite comedy because The Breakup is one of my favorite fucking movies, and it's not a movie that's gonna make you laugh la 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 la, but it's this guy going through a breakup that's so sarcastic in every single thing that it's amazing. Yeah. I don't know. So going on, those two.
I dig that, man. Thank you.
Come with the beat. Come with the beat. Come.
Fuck! It's such a great movie. He hit me. Oh my god, that fucking is such a great movie. It's such a great movie.
Baby wanted 12 lemons.
Come. And then it has a part where this guy that doesn't want to, it was played by Vincent D'Onofrio, where they all grew up a certain way, and this guy grew up through a breakup and goes to hug his brother, and his brother's all fucking Vincent D'Onofrio status, like already like an actor, like don't touch me, like great. It's like trying to hug the Kingpin, like it's fucking great. It's such a great
movie.
Yes.
Great movie, yeah.
Alrighty. And thank you very much for sharing, and thank you everybody for your homework assignments. Appreciate you all. All right, so that leads us to the tail end of our episode. We're about to get into the spoiler talk with Loki, but before we do that, there was a villain cast for the new She-Hulk movie. Jamila Jamil? Am I pronouncing that right? And so she is going to be playing the villain of Titania. So that's happening.
Nice.
I mean, she's only casted. We don't know what the premise is or anything. So I'm assuming we don't have too much to mention outside of her being in it.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, she's been casted as it, but I'm not very familiar with that villain. So I would have to defer to anyone here on the show, or honestly, I would have to defer to Comix Alliance to see if they can go ahead and explain, that villain, the She-Hulk's villain. So
shooting that to you, Comix Alliance. Message us. We love you.
Do some homework.
Do our homework. Oh, so she was apparently in. She was one of the voices in Jurassic Park Camp Cretaceous.
Oh, that's that Netflix
the
show
Netflix
for kids, right?
Yeah. Okay. About that. So I was wearing my.
You seem very annoyed by it, by the way.
I mean, I was. However, there's one thing that I will say. So I got into a Jurassic Park conversation because I was wearing this shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Was it last week? Last week when I got on the airport, right? And so our Uber driver's like, I like a Jurassic Park shirt, and then he started talking about this. He was like, really, really into it. Like he knew his stuff. He knew the director of Jurassic World, blah blah blah, and he mentioned something very interesting. He said that season 1 and 2 of this again kids show. That it was a slow burn, but season 3 it runs almost parallel to Jurassic World, a la Clone Wars, how it run parallel to Revenge of the Sith.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
I had absolutely no interest in watching this thing, but apparently this show takes place, or it. I don't know if it was just that season. But that show takes place. These kids are going to be part of a camp that goes to Jurassic World. And one person in particular isn't rich, and so they win a sweepstakes, very much like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So
Okay.
it's this like normal kid in with these other rich kids that are on this park, and then the park loses power. And then during the events of Jurassic World, the Indominus gets out and all that stuff. They're in this little camp that one of them was a sweepstakes winner, and it's running like as the events are happening in the Jurassic World film. This
Well, that's
stuff
pretty
is happening.
cool.
Yes, I thought the same thing, and I'm like, I am very surprised I didn't know about this.
Okay.
And so I might give it a try, because even the Uber driver is like, yeah, it is kid friendly. He's like, but it's not bad. It's it takes a couple episodes to get into, but it's relatively charming that you can kind of get through it. It's pretty quick.
Yeah, that's one of the shows that's like on the queue for my kids to watch is that Jurassic Park Camp.
Camp Cretaceous, I think it's called.
Yeah, because it's like I've read certain things about the first two seasons, like you were saying, or like the Uber driver was saying, is that it's a slow burn. So it seems, or it sounds like it's very like learning, like, oh, this is a Stegosaurus, this is what they used to do, and blah, like very Magic School Bus-y, So that's what I've read. So that's why I'm kind of like down, like, okay, I'll plot my kids in front of it so they can kind of like learn and watch and stuff like that. But if the third one like runs parallel to Jurassic World, like, I don't know, man. Like, is that gonna be too much for my kids to handle?
I would hope not, but it just seems it's an interesting concept. It's if they can do it, I mean, like, hey, I'd be down.
Because let's be honest, so Jurassic World, I mean, after Jurassic Park 3, let's be honest, like that's what the franchise needed, because
100%.
I think at least that's my personal opinion. I know a few people that loved Jurassic Park 3.
Do not understand that at all.
Yeah, Jurassic Park 3
garbage.
was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I mean, the second one, Lost World, was a little far-fetched, but
what's funny is the second one I remember liking it as a kid, and then when I rewatch it as an adult, like,
you're like, how the fuck could I watch this?
Yeah, like it's a little bit more far-fetched, but the first Jurassic Park, yeah, it's true. The first Jurassic Park, though, that one fucking ages beautifully. Like, and stands good today.
Absolutely, I completely agree with you, and I think that's what I'm so excited for Jurassic Park Dominion, is that it looks, based off of the poster that they released, it looks like it's going back to its roots. And I'm so excited about that, because they're getting the majority of the previous cast, or the first cast in Jurassic Park. Sam Neill's coming back. The actress that played Ellie is coming back. I'm not sure if Jeff Goldblum's coming back, but it's just like,
I would imagine he is. He's been very active lately. So.
I would assume so, but that's what it seems like, and I'm excited for that. I'm here for it, and I want to watch it.
I'm here for it. All right, so we will move it on along to our spoiler talk of Loki, and these are our spoiler warnings. Thank you, Carmen. Starting with you, Andres. Did you see the new episode, or did you like it?
I have not finished it. I am about halfway through, so I am loving it so far. I love the banter between Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston. I think in general, I love the way Marvel casts their characters, that they play off the actors in the shows so well, that they play off each other perfectly. Like, this is like a perfect casting. Like, it's such a treat just to watch them together and banter about. So I'm looking forward to seeing more, and I'm digging the show so far. So,
dig it, Ash. Bureau.
Just giving our opinion because I don't want to spoil anything, right?
No, we already gave the spoiler warning.
I'm trying to fucking still make it so I don't spoil it for.
You're fine. Don't worry about it.
The relationship between Loki and Owen Wilson is to me almost going to be the equivalent of TJ Miller and Deadpool, in that it's the same type of character it's like Vince Vaughn going against fucking. Ooh, that's a good one. But it's like the same type of what you get casted for, and you're playing two different characters. Like, it's a sarcastic charmer. Like the part where he's talking about the judge's eyes, like is oh my god, like it's Luke Wilson. No, sorry, Owen Wilson is like he's great at that. Like to be honest, like that's the perfect for Wedding Crashers going full circle with Vince Vaughn. That was a perfect opposite of Vince Vaughn. But usually there's only one, and there's like Deadpool. There was two of those type of characters. I feel like it's awesome because that's the one person reaching out to Loki that gets him. Which is why, like, I feel like the Deadpool TJ Miller relationship worked because that's the one person that kind of gets you. That I'm in trouble. That's the one person that gets you, but has your back. Again, without screwing everybody over, like Loki was going to go into this specific path, and it was the one guy that is similar to what you get casted as saving him. I thought that was amazing. I thought everything they showed is making the entire, when I say Infinity War, I'm going from Iron Man to this makes sense. Like, I kind of do feel like Marvel's making it make sense because, as we discussed, Loki was supposed to die way earlier, and they're making it make sense. But I do love that Marvel plans, like, as of Infinity War, Loki's done, cool, blah, blah, blah. Okay, here's where we're going with this. You know what I mean? I fucking love that. And it sucks that DC's like, that didn't work out, scrap it. That didn't work out, scrap it. Like, it all started with Iron Man, and it worked out, and we all made it fucking make sense. It sucks that DC's just scrap it, scrap it, scrap it. Make this guy blah blah blah. Yeah. Like, fuck, homie, just make it make sense. Instead of scrapping people, make the story make fucking sense. Whether you have to do Scarlet Witch, and that's why that makes sense. Whether you have to fucking make us accept a new Captain America, you can do it. Just fucking do the work and stop scrapping shit and be like, well, how do you guys feel about fucking Superman being a girl? Like, just fucking make it make sense. I'm going off on a tangent. I liked Loki.
Mm-hmm.
It was good. I liked that it concentrated, like, the one part was like, you're not this, bro. You're this. And this is how I know. Because I'm gonna show you your mom. And that was like, I didn't do that. Showed it to him again. I didn't do that. Showed it to him again. And it was like, okay, now I realize I can't deal with it because I'm the god of mischief. Made him sit into, like, it was like you made him break. And then even when he had the power that they had, he was, I'm just gonna go all out, I'm sorry. Whoever didn't watch it, I apologize. But even when he had the power, the same power that they had that was keeping him there, he couldn't change it. He couldn't do shit. You're stuck here. And you're so used to this world where, like, fuck, the Infinity Stones mean this, and it's in this peon nothings. The guy that you fucking are gonna go to get out of this place, it's his fucking paperweight. Not only that, you find out there's fucking other Infinity Stones. It's not even the fucking it's not even the gauntlet. It's other ones that we didn't even know existed. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you want this? Oh, you want that? And there's multiple. Like, amazing. And like, oh, I thought you said magic doesn't exist here, which means this other thing that exists. It was amazing. The way they did it was great. And to be honest, like after Avengers, I was almost like a broken up person that wants to make this person be like, oh, you're still good. Oh, you're still good. Like fucking Dark World when he was good for 5 minutes. I was the same guy that was like, got all happy when Loki was good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right.
I dig it. Thank you, sir. Carmen, did you watch it? What did you think?
Yes, I did watch it. I love it so far. I like the way that they did the presentation with the minutes where they're explaining like why they're there and the trial. It gave me very like Jetsons, reminiscent of the cartoon style of the Jetsons. I like that. I did like how Ash was saying the arc that we get to see Loki have in the first episode, because we see him in the first scene trying when he gets to Tesseract, which is the callback to the other movies. And then we see him get to the world and he's like, oh, I'm going to conquer this world, or I'm Loki, like I'm here to be your god or whatever. And then, he gets taken out of that reality. And then Owen Wilson is like asking him, like, who are you really? Like, you say that you're this god, like, that's all you want to be. That's all, like, that you aspire to be. Like, what after that? Like, what else? I like the whole questioning of it because it circles back to the end of the episode of when he really truly acknowledges himself. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he had no answer, right? Like, okay, so after you're God, what? And he had no
Exactly.
answer. Like,
he had no answer because he had been so preoccupied to just getting the power to be the god.
So good.
And so that's what Owen Wilson was trying to get him to realize, like, that what about, like, what's after that? Like, what's, like, what are you going to do after that? And I like the way that the episode ended because it like tied everything together of, okay, you saw your future and the timeline that what was going to happen to you. And so now we're going to present you with this other choice. And like, do you now understand, and you understand yourself, and you want to do this then willingly, because this is perhaps a greater cause than the future you thought you were going to have, because now you already saw it play out. So I like that a lot.
You know what I like too? There's a lot of like Step Brother stuff where it was like that scene on the rock with Zeus, like the way that he played it in the movie was like, yeah, whatever, bro. And to Thor, it meant everything. And then that's the thing, other than his mother, that's the other thing. Like, it, that's fucking
to see the acceptance of
fucking
his
hardship.
dad. Yeah.
It was like, it did mean something to him, and it did blah blah blah. Like when you watch the movie, and I'm still gonna fuck you over, it's kind of like, fuck, I wish he would have went that way. And you realize, like, through this show, he did do that. It's like like fucking every character that fucking Brad Pitt and Matt Dillon ever played. Like, I am the bad boy, but I have this side. Like, you find out he does have that side.
What did you think, Louis?
I'm gonna shoot it back to Esteban. Actually,
sorry.
I dug it. It was a really good episode. I like the way that they are presenting this 2012 Loki. For him to kind of see, everything that has happened, or everything that could happen, or the possible reality for him. I think it's great. I like the little Easter eggs that they threw in for that scene, or for the entire episode of Loki. For everyone that's thinking that the demon in the stained glass window is Mephisto, it's not Mephisto. The showrunner already came out and said that it's not Mephisto. It's supposed to be hinting to Loki, the fallen angel, quote unquote angel from Asgard. So I think that's great that they're I think what I like the most is that we saw Loki's redemption and his arc turn from being a villain to being a good guy in Ragnarok. Now we get a chance to see Loki change it again and to follow a different path than what he originally had from the very first Thor all the way up to Infinity War, to for him to follow or to have a different path, to be the hero again that he is, or that they're hinting that he should be. It's fucking genius the way that they did it, for him to see his possible future, or what his future could have been if he would have stayed in that timeline, to see that he was the cause of the reason why his mother was killed, to see the dark elves, to see that he is actually killed.
Dude,
by
the look
Thanos.
on his face when the tape ran out.
Yeah,
the look on his face was like, as fucking homie would say, chef's kiss.
It's perfect. No, it really is. It really is. The mere fact that he saw his own neck being broken by Thanos on screen, it's like, well, fuck, that's what could have become of me. Like, seriously, like, really, like that's what it could have been. I think it kind of opened his eyes a little bit, and it's something that he wanted. And I think it's more so that he needed to see, for himself, because just like he said, he's just like, it's all an illusion, for the weak. That's what this is. That's what I do. It's all an illusion, for him, for that to go ahead and come back to him. I'm excited. I mean, I'm not 100% sure how many episodes we're supposed to have of Loki. I hope it's more than what we had for the Falcon and Winter Soldier. So I hope it's more than 6. But I'm invested. Like, this thing I think is going to be the new Friday night. We got to watch Loki, before anything else, but it's going to be on a Wednesday.
Dude, why are you smiling? You're not happy. Why are you smiling during this part? Like, when they show him,
yeah.
Like,
for sure.
For
sure.
So
it's
and he
your,
knows he's not supposed to. Sorry.
And to your point, what you and like Owen Wilson, every time Owen Wilson was on screen, he fucking stole the scene,
Yep.
And for him to call him on his bullshit the entire time, it's like, I think he knows, and that's the thing. It's that's to start off that interview that he had with Loki. He's like, I know you, I've studied you, there's more to you than what you think,
And that's what finally fucking breaks him. Like, at the end, when like he tries to change everything, and he fucking
yeah.
So
and I think it's really cool that for WandaVision, we didn't get Wanda's breaking point until what, 3/4 of the way through the episode, like the second to the last episode. The same thing for Bucky, where they try to go ahead and activate him as a Winter Soldier, and it didn't work, and he's crying tears of joy because he's finally free. Wanda crying because she's tormented and she's in pain, and then now in this very first episode we get Loki like, fuck, dude, like, I'm not who I say I am, or I'm 100% weak, and that's why I do this, is because I'm weak, I think it's the way that these writers are writing WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Loki. It's again, it's the one thing that we've always talked about. So far, Marvel has not struck out, and they keep going over and over and over. And to their counterpart, to DC's just fucking around at this point. They really are.
It makes sense. All right, you wrote that. Here's what I'm gonna do. And
I think that's,
I'm not gonna shit on you. It's just what we're gonna do. Like, we're gonna give credence to everything you did, and we're gonna expand on your world and make it one world, as opposed to like, nah, bro, what you're gonna do here, like, we're gonna come up with Aquaman, but we're gonna do this with other Superman. Like, what the fuck? Like,
it's a cohesive oasis, between in that Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's cohesive. It's, I mean, aside from the bullshit that ended up happening prior, like the Netflix shows that happened and the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and stuff like that, that was it's fucked up that it happened the way that it did, that they're separate or whatever. But
Oh,
to
Did you
see
see
everything,
through one of the portals, Peggy
Yes.
Carter?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it still gives credence to.
exactly, and
It still
that's the
makes
thing,
sense.
and that's the thing is that to see that yes, both the TV universe and the movie universe can be one cohesive oasis, can be one thing where it can pull from one thing and another and just make it perfect and make it make sense. This is going to go on for the next 10, 20 years, 30 years that we're going to have this. I would venture to say that in the next 10 years, somehow, some way, Iron Man #1 is going to be referenced in a movie or in a TV show, just like it was in Loki. So, and I'm on a rant because I am very buzzed right now and I fucking love it.
We love it. That's
We
so
love
good.
it. Our
I
viewers
have
love
not
it.
been, look, since I got put on this stupid medication that I'm on, I have not drank like I did tonight. I'm good.
Wait till we get the lottery wheel.
Oh no.
Good night.
Good night, sweet prince.
And on that note, I will say good night to everybody. And at this point of the show, I will admit that I haven't seen Loki yet because I've been on vacation. I just got back last night. So,
Luis, who's the host of tonight? Is it you?
Yeah.
Okay.
But next week, everything you guys have mentioned sounds awesome. So for everybody that has stuck around this far into the show, we appreciate you. Please comment, review, subscribe, do the whole thing. And we appreciate you for everything. And as always, we are Comix, and we are everywhere.
Everywhere.
Good night.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.